Good evening, live from TV47 News Center this Wednesday night, the 30th of June 2021. I am Musa Salah and TV47 News Tonight begins right now. But first, here are the top stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, it wasn't me. President Kenyatta, through his lawyers, says the BBI bill was popularized by Junet Mohammed and Dennis Waweru, and not him or ODM boss Raila Odinga. Plus, Jubilee is still in talks with ODM over a possible pre-2022 merger, but the party is still open to talks with DP Ruto's UDA.
Hata kama Jubilee na UDA ni mfaragano kidogo, lakini tunazungumza.
Also tonight, man who was detained by police while transporting the body of his wife from Malindi and forced to spend the night with the casket of his deceased wife has been awarded 1.5 million shillings by the High Court.
There will be an order therefore for compensation of Kenya shillings 1.5 million shillings as general and exemplary damages against the first respondent.
Welcome to the broadcast. Anne Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. And on to our top story. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, and President Uhuru Kenyatta's lawyers appeared before the 7-judge bench of the Court of Appeal to challenge the High Court decision that nullified the BBI constitutional amendment process, as the IEBC argued that the High Court overreached its jurisdiction by issuing an advisory on the BBI process. President Kenyatta's team argued that the BBI popularization was done by Junet Mohammed and Dennis Waweru, and not President Kenyatta and his handshake counterpart, Raila Odinga.
In that affidavit,
as IEBC's and President Uhuru Kenyatta's lawyers argued their appeal on the contentious issues in the 13th May High Court ruling, Tuesday's concerns of the initiator of the BBI constitutional amendment process and President Kenyatta's role in the amendment bill featured prominently in the Court of Appeal hearing.
Letter from the IEBC
with the BBI legal team revealing that former Dagoretti South Member of Parliament Dennis Waweru and Suna East legislator Junet Mohammed were the official promoters of the bill and not President Kenyatta, further raising eyebrows on the infamous BBI ruling.
My Lord, we wish to submit on this that against all evidence which was not controverted, that the promoters of this initiative was Honorable Dennis Waweru and Honorable Junet Mohammed. The court insists on finding that His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was the promoter of this initiative.
According to IEBC, the High Court erred in law by giving an advisory on the BBI bill, a role constitutionally preserved for the Supreme Court.
There is nothing in the Constitution of Kenya 2010 that said you can come to court if you have no nexus with the dispute, if you have no standing, if there is no cause of action. You can write a big petition, throw it to the court and say, please help us because we are very annoyed with the action of the chief. That is not the law of Kenya.
Since you are not suing anyone, it means you are seeking the advice of the court. Can you approach the Superior Court, the High Court, for an advisory opinion? My lords, our Constitution does not allow that. You can only go to the Supreme Court, and there lies the difficulty.
However, the lawyers had a difficult time convincing the 7-judge bench that the electoral body had fulfilled the due process in the BBI signature verification exercise.
It is to be noted that there were over 4 million signatures. Not a single person, despite the publication by ABC, came out to complain that my name was put there erroneously.
Counsel,
yes, my
please assist me. You see, it's my business to understand this thing. And I want to know, how is that process a verification other than just having the numbers and perhaps ID numbers which are easy to get from IEBC, from the voters register? How does one verify that those are actually supporters?
My lords and my ladies, Section 2 of the Elections Act defines biometric to mean the unique identifiers or attributes including fingerprints, hand geometry, earlobe geometry, retina and iris patterns, voice waves, DNA, and signatures. It is a fairly broad definition. Now, permit me to look at, just so that I complete that part, that is how then to apply for registration. You are referred to this need to have the biometric data and details set out in Form A to the schedule. Again, this is law.
My Lord, the learned judges of the Superior Court expended quite some considerable effort in unpacking the phrase verification of signatures. My Lord, that phrase does not exist anywhere in the Constitution. What is in the Constitution, my Lord, is a phrase which reads as follows: verification, quote unquote, verification that the initiative is supported, and it continues, and it ends with voters.
President Kenyatta's team, on the other hand, came gun blazing at the High Court judges to present 17 grounds of appeal. In their 4-point argument, Kenyatta's lawyers claimed that the president, who according to the High Court can be sued at a personal level, was not given a fair hearing, claiming that the court erred in law by hearing a matter that was determined by a court of similar status, and that the president did not contravene Article 73(1)(a) of the Constitution on the responsibilities of leadership.
So we'll adjourn now.
Now, the recruitment of 4 commissioners at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, picked up pace on Wednesday following a day-long psychometric test administered on all 36 shortlisted applicants. The test that seeks to evaluate each applicant's cognitive ability and mental agility comes ahead of July's oral interviews, from which 4 people will be picked to fill the vacancies at the electoral body's top brass. David Mudoka has the details.
Wednesday morning at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, one by one, all 36 applicants shortlisted in the quest to fill the 4 vacant commissioner positions at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission trickled in. The 36 who for the first time sat in the same room were subjected to a psychometric test that culminated in a case study test, with the Dr. Elizabeth Muli-led IEBC selection panel keen on separating the wheat from the chaff.
Psychometrics have been used world over as best practice in adding to the robustness of the selection process.
According to the panel, the tests will further scrutinize an applicant's cognitive skills, behavioral preferences, motivational interests, and emotional intelligence, and will set the foundation for the final stage in the recruitment process.
That all candidates who shall undertake the psychometric test shall proceed to the oral interviews, which shall be held between the 7th and 22nd of July 2021.
Among those interested in filling the shoes of former IEBC commissioners Roslyn Akombe, Margaret Mwachanya, Connie Nkatha, and Paul Kurgat include Environment CS Keriako Tobiko's sister Naisiae Tobiko, Kenya's ambassador to Zimbabwe Lucy Jebet Chelimo, Kenya's deputy permanent representative to the UN Koki Muli, former commissioner at the Public Service Salim Demo, former Kenya National Commission on Human Rights chairpersons Florence Jako and Kagwiri Mbogori, and former Gwasi lawmaker Felix Nyauchi. The 36 were shortlisted from a total of more than 600 applicants who are eyeing the top seats at the electoral body. The youngest to face the IEBC selection panel one-on-one next month is a 23-year-old applicant, while the oldest is 73 years old.